getting started. 1, 2, 3. I think they can hear me. Can we give everybody a mic check?
Mic check.
1, 2, 1, 2.
Mic check.
Oh. All right, awesome.
1, 2.
Do you want us to hold off? You have a rap for us or something? That sounded pretty good.
I can if you like.
We'll wrap it up with a
probably
rap.
don't want to.
Okay, so if anyone has a question, please, by all means, raise your hand. After I finish a couple of the questions here, be able to raise your hand. We'll get to the audience before they have to go to the next station. I have the head coach for the NC State Wolfpack, Wes Moore, Saniya Rivers, and Madison Hayes also joining us on the stage. And just to jump right into things, from each team that we've talked about, we talk about the ACC and how it prepares you for everything going into even postseason play. But as we reflect on last year's squad and even what you want this team to be going forward, what are some takeaways from last year?
Yeah, last year we were probably a little bit more inconsistent than we're used to. I like rides, but roller coaster is not one of them. So definitely want to find more consistency this year. I like the fact we have some freshmen on this team, so I think it makes everyone have to teach and think a little bit more, including the coach. But just excited about that mix. We got a great core of veterans that give us great leadership, and then we got some fresh faces, new faces to add that energy and enthusiasm. And so far it's been great. I'm excited about it, and hopefully we can, like I said, be a little more consistent, have that urgency, that energy, night in and night out.
Mm-hmm. You did mention the new faces, 8 newcomers on your roster. You have 6 freshmen and 2. Well, it said it on here. So I was like, wow,
okay.
that's very
you.
interesting.
I got you. Okay.
But just looking at how you're building on that, but when you have your core, as you mentioned, with Saniya Rivers, who was coming off of the bench, 6th Woman of the Year, and that's something that NC State has swept in the last 3 seasons. But for you, how you've grown within your role, knowing what you wanted to do. Had a couple of games late in the season, too, where Coach said, I need a little bit of a different look, and being in that starting rotation. How have you grown as a player?
Oh, man, I think I'm having to tap into this leadership role. I've never been a leader before. This is my first time being an upperclassman, looking up to other leaders. I think I'm doing a pretty good job, though, on and off the court. I make sure that the team bonds off the court so that when we transition on the court, the transition is smooth. I think we're doing a pretty good job gelling, and I think it just helps a lot. So.
I think it's very unique in your case, too, being a transfer coming in. But also being on a team where you won the title with South Carolina and knowing what goes in to winning a title. So knowing the expectation at NC State and how you can be a part of that in your new leadership role, what do you think are a few things that you guys have to do to make that jump?
There are a few things that it's a lot that you have to do to win a national championship. But a few things that I would have to point out is communication. We have to make sure that we talk on and off the court. When things don't go our way off the court, we have to make sure we communicate it. Or on the court, we got to make sure we communicate it off the court so that we don't make the same mistakes in the next game. Another thing is just like, I don't know. We have to focus on our defense. Offense, we know that we can score. Everybody on this team adds a piece of versatility, but we just have to bring that same energy on defense every night. So.
I love how we're hearing that consistency. I like that, Coach. I see what's going on here. Madison, for you, I know just being one of those players that is really relied on as far as the scoring, but what do you see or foresee yourself being for this team in order to get to the heights that they want for this season?
I think just doing the little things that I usually do, lock down the defender, rebounding, doing the little things, and obviously scoring will come. So not really worried about scoring as much, but obviously scoring is going to come as much as doing every little thing that I have to do.
Going back to just the previous season and how even taking the lessons from that year to this one, because you look at the schedule and you're like 4 wins over net top 25 teams, and that's including Iowa, Notre Dame, Louisville, and North Carolina, obviously in ACC play. These are teams that are veered and also ACC teams. NCAA teams. Right. So what is the next step? When you can say, I have a team that knows how to win, but doing it consistently, what is that next step trying to get everyone to gel?
Yeah, again, I'm going into my 35th year as a college head coach. Last year was probably the first year that we were a little up and down, and just not used to that. So we've got to make sure that, first of all, we just revamped our locker room, our film room, all these things. And the most prominent thing in there is team, team, team. We got to realize I want them to get personal accolades. I want them to be recognized. I want them to have light. Okay, I get it. But at the end of the day, it's a whole lot more fun when you kind of lose yourself in that team, and buy in totally. It's just a whole lot more fun. Everything's better when you win, the food, the travel, everything. So just getting where we realize that that's our priority. And it's tougher nowadays, you got the portal, the NIL, all these things pulling at you from an individual standpoint. And now you got to, try to focus on what's important. And so I think that's the biggest thing, is not caring so much who gets the attention, who gets the credit, and concentrate more on we and us. And that's gonna help us get where we want to get.
Can I transition to a we story that Madison has as far as using some of the NIL money to help and give back to the community as well? I was reading to pay for and give away nearly 250 backpacks to children at the Crips Ramsey Community Center. The heart to have that, just describe why that's important to you.
It was important to me because that's the same summer camp that I used to go to every year back in my hometown, and just giving back to the kids that, their parents can't go to the store and get them something, or everybody's already selling out of backpacks. So having the supplies for them and making sure they have what they need for school, and making sure they understand that school is important. And that was the biggest thing for me, in emphasizing that school is important and basketball comes after,
Thank you. Obviously, it's a great thing to see.
Yeah.
And we want to highlight that as much as possible, the things that these amazing athletes are well beyond what they do on the court, but just incredible people as well. So thank you.
Thank you.
Going back to you, Saniya, I remember during last season, it's like, how's it going? You're like, I'm a little quiet, but I'm going to work it out.
Yeah.
For your growth, has there been anyone that you've leaned on or learned from in order to say, I have to come out of my shell a little bit more because it's not innate? Who are some of those people that have helped you in that department?
Definitely my older sister. She played at state some years back. She has her own business. It's called Own Your Energy. So I've been trying to focus more on my mental this year, these past few seasons. If I'm not mentally strong, my game on the court isn't going to be right. So I've been trying to tap into that mental role, making sure I'm not in my head all the time when something doesn't go my way, just next play, having that next play mindset. And I feel like I've been having sessions with her weekly because I'm trying to get this thing going so that I can just, when season comes around, I'm just locked in mentally so that I can do my game.
It's unbelievable to see the jump just from a season ago.
And I've seen a big difference. And she's, as you said, I think part of it is being mentally and physically tough. It's a physical game now, okay? And also, it's tough. The teams are so great, the talent's so great that you've got to be able to get back up. You're going to get knocked down. You're going to have adversity. How do you handle it? And y'all, that's what athletics is about. So when you see what great strides Saniya's made, and now, in a year or two, she leaves college, she's going to have that same mentality in life. And, it's tough out there, in the real world. That's why I stayed in school for 35 years here, or whatever, how longer than that probably. So again, it's important that they learn that and then carry that over off the court someday.
I know that you've been in this role for a very long time, Coach, but I know there are
that's a nice way of saying that.
Yeah,
Thank
but
you.
you look beautiful. When you're looking at even the things that you've learned in the last maybe 2 to 3 years about how to coach the next. You mentioned the different things that are now within this league as far as dealing with NIL or even dealing with the transfer portal. How have you adjusted to even how this game is played now?
I'm trying. It's still not easy, but I just think you got to try to focus more on the coaching aspect, the teaching aspect, I guess I should say. I'm very competitive, and I got a fire in my belly, and along with a lot of other stuff. But I want our players to have that same intensity and everything every day. I have it every day. And again, they help me when I go in the gym for practice. when they have the energy, when they're upbeat, then I feed off of that too. And, you just can't waste days now. This is, like I said, a great league, and we got to keep getting better, and hopefully we're our best in March. But definitely, having these players, great, as you mentioned, great players, but also great people, makes it fun. I don't got to go to work. I get to go to work.
That's
so it's nice.
I love it. I love that saying. Looking at, too, the schedule.
Yeah.
Now it's a little
Who
bit
did
different.
That? Yeah.
I think you had a little bit to do with that, Coach.
Yeah.
But now, no longer are we seeing the Big Ten ACC Challenge. We have a new challenge in this season with the SEC, two of the most dominant conferences, and we've seen them time in and time out each year in the Elite Eight, Final Fours, and championship teams. So what does that mean to you to have this challenge, but also growing the game and what that looks like?
Yeah, these elite players, they want to play against the best, as often as possible. They want to be on that big stage, our non-conference first week. First of all, we have Charlotte, team right down the road here coming in, and we got to make sure we don't look ahead, because I know how great they are and what a great job their staff does. But then you also have UConn that first week on ABC, and so you want to put them on that big stage so they're used to those opportunities. But yeah, I just think our game, when you play those kind of games, you're going to get those great TV opportunities, and that's what grows our game. Little girls sitting on the couch at home, and they see great players like this and say, wow, I want to be like them. And so I just think our game is in a special place right now. It's also a great time to be a student athlete, and especially women's basketball. Couldn't ask for any more than that. It's fun.
I mean, how much fun has the women's game been, just to see the numbers from even last year in the Final Four of the NCAA tournament, and then even now how we're kind of like riding that wave. It's because of the talent and what we've seen. So it's a lot that goes into that as well. But I would like to just ask you too, because, I'll ask different coaches, what should the identity be for the team? And they're like, it should be this. But for you guys holding yourself accountable, when people turn on the television and watch you and see you, what would they say that team is all about?
I feel like this year, since, we're unranked, as you saw, having a chip on our shoulder and being tough, that's our biggest thing. And obviously what Coach Moore said earlier, being a team on and off the floor, staying together through wins and losses, which we don't like to lose. But at some point, it
might happen.
It might happen, yes. But just sticking together and knowing that we have one goal, everybody has the same goal, and that's what we want.
I say along the same lines, our toughest competition isn't going to be the team that we're facing that night. It's going to be us. And if we have our mental together, if we put in the work prior to the game and we are confident, then we'll be fine.
Any questions to the audience? One right here. Quickly, we have one right here. I feel like we need some theme music when we're waiting on this. The mic to be passed. All right.
Yeah, this is for Coach. What's an area of strength that you've seen from your team in practice and something they need to get better at before the first game of the season?
I think, again, I feel like we do have a team. I think they're great at sharing the ball, setting teammates up, just playing together. I think, again, rebounding and defense. Your shooting is going to be up and down. And these two both have worked extremely hard, put extra time in. So I think that's, going to be something that's going to continue to get better. But you're going to have off nights, and defense, rebounding, those things can bail you out on a night where maybe you don't play your best on the offensive end. So hopefully we'll continue to buy into that and get better as we go.
Thanks so much for the question. That will conclude our time on the stage. Ladies, thank you so much for your time. Best of luck this season, Coach.
Thank you.
Thank you.